All right, so for this class, we're going to practice a very old technique from the Renaissance called scaling. It is still super useful to this day for figuring out how to properly make proportions. And what do I mean by proportions? So, thinking about things in proportion means the relationship of size between one part of something and the other part of something. So, for example, this apple is a lot shorter than this bottle, especially if I put them right next to each other, right? How much shorter? Well, this apple, if I measure it with my pencil, I can see that it is 1, 2, 3, and 3 and a teeny bit more, maybe 3 1/4 times the, not times, but 3 times smaller, 3 1/4 times smaller than that bottle. And the way that I figure that out is this cool sighting method. And oh, it won't let me flip, will it? I need to like show myself. So I'm standing here in my very messy bedroom, excuse me. And you can see when I'm sighting, I'm holding out my arm like this. My arm is sticking straight out, my elbow is locked, and I'm using my thumb to go up and down the pencil to see how big something is, and I'm squinting. I'm covering one eye so that I can see the thing in the distance, and my pencil is measuring that thing in the distance. So that's how you'll look when you're testing out these measuring techniques. But because I'm using a camera, it's a lot easier. So you just pretend that my camera is my eye squinting, right? So that is what it looks like from the drawer's perspective. Okay, so then I'm looking at how to apply this method to draw a proportionately sized, so with the right proportions, bottle. Okay, so I have my pencil, the tip of my pencil. I'll use the tip of my eraser because it's a little bit brighter. So it doesn't matter, tip of your pencil or tip of your eraser is fine. I can see that this bottle is about yay wide, right? I picked the widest section of the bottle, not the skinniest, right? If I measured it by that, that wouldn't work. So I'm finding the widest part of the bottle. There we go. This is wider than that. Correcto? Correcto. All right. So how many times wide is this bottle tall? So this is, I've picked out on my pencil, that's the width, right? That's how wide it is. Then I can go, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's almost 4. And I have, oh, I didn't have my elbow locked. My elbow was kind of slack, so it looks a little bit smaller. Now I have my elbow locked. All right, and I can measure that width. It's a little bit wider than I thought, right? So my thumb's a little bit further down on the pencil. So now I can go with my elbow locked, 1, and the top of my pencil is just above those letters. And now 2, now the tip of my pencil is just about where that halo is. So I can move up. Okay, 3. Okay, now my tip of my pencil is about at that band where the words are. And that's 3. So it's about 3. So I go to my paper and I make the width. I can make whatever size I want. So we'll go with that. I've decided this is the width. This is where one end of the bottle is. That's where the other end is, right? There's this end, that end. This end, that end. That's how wide it is. Okay? Now I have to figure out, I have to size it on this pencil. So from pencil tip to my thumb. That is my measurement. Okay, so I'm gonna go 1, and then 2, and then 3. We said 3, right? 3 and some change, so maybe like right there. I can mark it with my finger, and you'll have your other hand to mark this with a pencil or mark it with your finger. I'm using my other hand to hold a cell phone. I wish I had 3 arms, but I don't. So I'm instead making a little scratch mark in the paper so that my eyes know where to make the top of this bottle. Okay, so now I know how wide it is and I know how tall it is. Now I can make a little box really by pressing lightly. Make this box, and that's the basic foundational shape of where my bottle will be. Now I want to see how wide the neck is. Okay, the neck is about yay big. My elbow is locked, right? So I'm not screwing up the proportion at all. It's that big around. And that, in proportion to the width down here in our widest part, is almost half. So 1, 2 equals 1. 1 width, 1, 2 widths. So I'll take this pencil down here, and I will go, what would be half of that? I can go here and see there's 1, 2. So I have my finger marking the place on my pencil where there's 1, 2, and I know it's going to be that wide. So I go over to my paper and I will just go make those marks. And we know that it's not gonna, the marks aren't gonna be way over here, right? Because the bottle top will be right in the center. It wouldn't be way over here. It wouldn't be way over here. It'd be right here in the middle. So is that as wide as my marking? Yep. Maybe a teeny bit skinnier would work. And if you want, you can also, like I have the sheet where I have these little bands so I can actually see. You can use little visual landmarks like that. Okay, so I know it's that wide. And then I can see how far down the bottle does this neck go. I can go, all right, we're about there. Arm is locked, elbow's locked, arm sticking straight out. That bottle neck goes, I'd say, all the way down there to the bottom of my gold band. Okay, and then I can go, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's about 3, we'll measure that one more time. There's 1, 2, gotta look at where the thumb is connecting, so it's right on those letters. There's 3, then my thumb's connecting to just under the label. 3 and a half. Okay, so going back to my image, I go, it's so hard to do this on my lap. I can make my mark and guess where it's about at 1/3. Then I can double check it. So I've guessed that my length is here, and I would go put my thumb, or in this case, my pen. Sorry, there we go. Just want to make sure it's accurate. So it's easier to use. If it's easier to use a different finger, that's fine, because this way I can keep my pencil flat on the paper. So there's 1, 2, 3, and change. I was right. Okay, so it's just guessing and then checking. And then adjusting as needed. Okay, and then I know that the width goes all the way up to here. You want to keep it as symmetrical as possible. And draw down to the base. And then I look at my base. Would it be flat? No. It has a curve, which we've had lots of practice doing. So I'm just going to draw the curves down there and erase. And there we go. That's using scale to draw a bottle.